What's up everyone, hope you're having a good day. Today we're going to be playing some Mono Poison. I did a guide on Mono Poison a few videos back, so if you're interested to learn more about the type, go check that out. This is just going to be me trying out my Poison team. So I found quite good success with this team in the last couple of days. On the ladder here, I'm at 44 on the ladder with this team. So these games are probably going to be quite tough. Any mistake can throw off the games completely and throw off my ladder as well. So going into the team, we have Toxapex, who's going to be the first defensive anchor on the team, a very important one on basically any Poison team. And it's kind of your standard recover, scald, haze, just to stop setups and potentially burn physical threats. It's especially defensive pecs. But here, interestingly enough, I'm trying to Spite. So Spite's really good against choice users who are locked into one move. I can Spite that one move. For example, if it's a Hydreigon, I can Spite its Draco Meteor, and suddenly it only basically has two usages of it, making it not be able to click it the rest of the game. So I've been trying this out and I've really enjoyed it. Next up we have Gengar, a fairly typical Choice Scarf Gengar. Just a bit of speed control in the team because my team otherwise completely lacks that. And we ran Focus Blast just for Steel types to outspeed Focus Scarf, Choice Scarf, Excadrill for example, and Focus Blast should be able to one-hit KO if it wants to hit, which it obviously doesn't always want to do. And then we just have Shadow Ball and Sludge Wave for coverage, for stab, and Trick is nice to stop walls like Toxapex who can give my team trouble, which is why we have Salazzle. So Salazzle is for the Steel and Poison matchup because otherwise my team really can't do much against them. She can just Toxic anything. And I'm going for a Protect Disable build as opposed to a Protect sub build. I find it really good against, again, like Choice Band or Choice Specs users. You protect their attack, then you disable it, and suddenly they have to swap out. Otherwise, they have to struggle, meaning you get a free Toxic on something else. And Toxic can't miss because it's Poison type, and it poisons anything because of corrosion, so it's really good. Next up, we have Weezing. Weezing is my Defogger and my Toxic Spike setter. Strange Steam is just for a bit of coverage against some dragons, which can give my team a bit of trouble because they're quite strong. And Will-O-Wisp is just to burn potential threats like ground types who don't have Mold Breaker. And EV wise, it's just a mixed bulk, so it has decent bulk in both and good HP, and Black Sludge for recovery. Next up we have Galarian Slowbro. Galarian Slowbro is my defensive tank. I'm running a fully physically defensive build with Rocky Helmet to punish things like Caesar who want to U-turn around on the team or Bullet Punch the team. So it's good for punishing those. It can also punish Chansey for trying to Seismic Toss. It can unfortunately 4-hit KO me as I don't have recovery, but it does. Chansey does take a lot of damage doing so. As for moveset, I have Nasty Plot, just to double its special attack because special attack isn't that amazing unboosted. Skull to hopefully spread some burns. I might have to change that to a different move depending on what I'm fighting a lot on the ladder. Future Sight is good for controlling what comes out, so if I click Future Sight for example on the bug team, they might want to take a Scolipede to eat the Toxic Spikes up, but they can't necessarily because they fear Future Sight killing it. So that kind of controls the battlefield a bit and allows me to keep momentum based on their swaps. And Shell Sidearm is just a decent stab, and it has physical damage if it's more damaging, which is rarely the case as I am a minus attack nature, but 184 it probably still would be slightly stronger on things like Chansey. I would run 31 neutral nature attack, but unfortunately that does make him more prone to foul plays. I'm going to try it because then we actually come up with roughly the same special attack and attack, meaning Shell Sidearm will do a lot more damage to especially defensive walls, and they probably won't be clicking foul play on me. If I click Nasty Plot, I think I'm a special attacker, so we'll see how that goes. And finally we have Assault Vest Drapion, again a kind of mixed bulk Pokemon. With the Assault Vest it comes in at roughly the same defense and special defense, having great HP and pretty decent attack. So this thing is basically my Volcarona counter, that's why it runs Rock Slide. It OHKOs Volcarona, and it can use a +1 Fire Blast from Modest Volcarona and can't be critical hitted. So it basically guarantees live that unless of course we miss Rock Slide or it gets a burn, then it's a bit more awkward. So then we have Knockoff just for team support, and Knockoff like great against like teams as well. Poison Jab for stab and Earthquake for steel types. So that's the team. I'm gonna hop into a game and hopefully we get some wins. So I'll be right back. So we have a game, and it is against Mono Dragon, which definitely can be a bit of an issue. Dragovich is very strong, so I have to be quite wary of that. As well as that, and Dragalge can absorb my spikes. So I'm going to have to play this one carefully. I feel I might open up Duraludon, so I'm going to open up my Toxapex and just try to spread a burn here. I should know pretty soon if this thing is Scarfed or Specs, depending on how it opens up. So Haxorus is quite a threat to my team, especially if it sets up. So we get a burn, which is pretty good. Let's see if they swap out here. If this thing Dragon Dances Haxorus, it can be dangerous to my team, as I do not have a ground resist to it. As its Mold Breaker ability will be able to Earthquake Weezing. So the reason I don't want Weezing against this is obviously I can Flash Cannon me. But depending on the Dragapult set, it can be an issue too. If I manage to burn the Haxorus, that's fantastic. Or if it comes out now, I can just haze in its face until it runs out of... until I die to Earthquakes potentially, and then I can get in Salazzle and Toxicate. It might be my best play. Or I can disable its Earthquakes. So Dragovich is definitely an issue for me. Physically defensive Slowbro is pretty good against it. But the only thing that outspeeds is Gengar, and I can't one-hit KO Dragovich. So they're taking quite a while to click a button here. As they go for Thunderbolt, revealing the fact they are not Scarfed. So I can just recover in this thing's face. As I don't mind having Pex against many of their team. I'd rather have Pex out than something else. And assuming this is a Specs Dragapult or a Life Orb Dragapult, Drapion should be able to take care of it quite nicely. So we got the crit there, but it didn't matter too much. I'm going to go for a Scald here and then a Recover. Hopefully he doesn't get a crit or a para. Just in case he wants to swap out, as I am actually making a net gain of HP here. So because I'm specially defensive Pex, I do wonder if that's an expert build, as it's doing quite a lot of damage. And I know it's not choice locked and it's not leftovers. So I'll just click recover once more, and that should put me back to full HP, assuming there's no critical or para hacks. Nice, so we avoided being paralyzed completely, and I said if Haxorus comes out here, I just have to haze in its face. It's unfortunate to lose Toxapex so early, but it's pretty much my only way I think I can guarantee the KO on Haxorus. So as I said, here comes Haxorus. I'm going to haze, just to see what it does, in case it wants to Dragon Dance in my face. If they go straight for an Earthquake, good play. Yeah, so it's going to dance in my face, as expected. So a very risky play here would be to go to Gengar and trick it, but I'm not. As I said, I'm just going to keep hazing this. They can't out Dragon Dance me. So they're going to go for the Earthquake here. Unfortunately, I have to sack Pex. I don't see another way to beat this thing. So what I'm going to do now is actually disable the Earthquake. Which should let me get out Wheezing. Hopefully they try click Earthquake this turn, as they actually go to save that, which is a good play. So I'm going to get a small bit of HP back here with Protect. So Haxorus is definitely an issue for me, as they go to flip turn. I'll disable that, just so they don't gain the momentum. And I'll Protect to get some more HP back. I expect maybe a Draco to come out here, as it does. So I can swap into Wheezing and hopefully throw down some Toxic Spikes. If I can manage to Toxic Haxorus, that's great for me in the long run. As they go for another Draco. So I can just throw down Toxic Spikes here. They could swap out and back into Dragalge. It would be a good play to absorb the spikes, as they try to stay in instead. So I'm just going to Strange Steam for a bit of chip. I do expect him to flip turn out, however, into potentially Hydreigon. But I think Drapion can come into Hydreigon without too much of an issue, as they choose to Sludge Wave again. So unfortunately my Wheezing is more or less useless now. If they go for a Sludge Wave, Drapion's my best play, I feel, and I can just knock this off. I would go for Earthquake, but I value knocking off the Black Sludge. Actually, I'm going to Earthquake. So I do think this game might be a wrap. It was unfortunate to have to sack Peck so early on, but otherwise I feel I would have just lost Haxorus. As they go for the flip turn. So they take out Hydreigon. I'm just going to jab this as they U-turn, probably back into Dragalge, to absorb those spikes. So I'm going to knock here. Okay, so Dragalge is dead, which means I could potentially get my Toxic Spikes back down, but I don't see a situation on any of these Pokemon which I could do it in front of. And assuming Dracovish is Scarfed, I don't think I have much of a way of beating it. So it goes for the Vicious Rend here. My best bet is it's Scarf and I can burn with the Slowbro, as it looks to be banded by that damage. I did get the burn, and it's important I keep this thing alive for later in the game. And we'll see if my Sludge Wave should be able to do some damage. Unfortunately missing out on the KO, and I do expect Dragapult to come out here. So I'm going to go back into Slowbro as they struggle. So unfortunately this game is as good as lost. I can try go back into Gengar as they Dragon Dart, so they seem to be a physical variant. And unfortunately I have no recovery outside of regen, so yeah, this game's a loss. GG. So unfortunately let's take my first L, and I'm going to pause there till I find another game. So we found another game, and it's against Mono Ice. So right off the bat, Weavile can be quite strong, especially if it's banded, and Kyurem can be a threat too. Darmanitan is always a threat, so I have to worry about that, but Slowbro is pretty good against it, being physically defensive. So we're going to open up... I think we open up with Slowbro, as they open up Kyurem. So I think my best bet here is to go... I'm going to click Future Sight, as I don't think it can OHKO me. It can OHKO me with a critical, unfortunately. So that really sucks. An early crit hurts a lot, but it does let me throw some Toxic Spikes down, which invites an Avalugg, but I can burn the Avalugg when it comes in. In fact, I can actually swap into Gengar to block the Rapid Spin. So I think I need to keep Weezing alive for later in the game, so I'll go drop here. I do expect an Avalugg to come in, but either way, a knockoff on anything is quite nice. So it lost his heavy duty boots. And I'm going to go into Gengar to hopefully block the spin. And I'm actually going to trick this too. As they go in Weavile, good play. I'm Pillow-Swine, sorry, good play. But it lost its Eviolite now, which makes it a lot worse, and I can go back into Weezing. As I throw spikes down, that's okay with me, because I can just click Strange Team. No matter what comes out, they should get Toxic. As Ninetales comes out. So when Ninetales comes out, I'm always going to go into my Assault Vest Drapion. It can live 2 Moonblasts. As I go for a Freeze Dry, probably expecting the Pex. And I can just knock off here again. So if they do keep out Ninetales to take care of Drapion, they do lose their Veil for the rest of the game, as they stay in and get up another Veil. So good play, but their Light Clay was knocked off, so it's not going to be there for too long. Losing Slowbro hurts so much in the end game for Darmanitan to stay alive, as Avalugg comes out again. I don't think they're going to go for a Rapid Spin again. I think they'll expect me to go in Gengar. But Drapion can be saved as a sack for later on. So I'm going to try block it just in case they do go for the spin. As they go straight into Pillow-Swine again. Letting me take out Toxapex. If they Earthquake, I can regen back into Weezing. If they don't, Pex can just sit in this thing's face. I mean, I'm okay with this play. They're trying to slowly chip me away, I feel. Chip my Gengar down. And I need to keep those Toxic Spikes up. Gengar doesn't outspeed Darmanitan anymore, so it's slightly more expendable. And I can just click Focus Blast here. Please connect. Nice. Thank you, Focus Blast. So this thing can go for a Ice Shard, as my Focus Blast thankfully connects, which gets rid of Pillow-Swine, which is a big threat. And now I can start to poison more things. So here I go Drop, just to see what it does. It's a good sack, a good middle ground. So I expect that to be a banded knockoff. Which lets me just take in Toxapex and click Recover in its face. So my goal here is to force a poison on either Kyurem or Darmanitan. I think every time I swap in to Gengar, as they double out to Weavile. Good play. So they are chipping me down on the Gengar thanks to these Stealth Rocks. But I think I can always just kind of pivot around on Toxapex and just click Recover. So I'm actually going to Scald this turn, expecting maybe Weavile to want to come out again. If they Rapid Spin, good play. As Weavile came back out. So all this chip damage matters a lot in the long run. Ah, perfect. I got the poison on Kyurem I needed. So I feel my most expendable member is probably Salazzle. Actually no, Salazzle is really good for disabling this. So that definitely is specs based on the damage it did. And unfortunately it will KO here. But it lets me get in Salazzle and just click I click disable in case they stay out as they go into Avalok. That's okay because I get a protect into a flamethrower here as they body press, so I click flamethrower, which means they can no longer spin. If Kyurem comes out, I always protect into disable. Darmanitan is an issue, so Kyurem does come out, so I always protect here as they go for the earth power, so I can disable that. And now I get a free flamethrower. Giving me Darmanitan is so good for me in the end, as that was the biggest threat. Weavile comes out and I rinse and repeat. I just protect this. I see he wants to go for a knockoff. It would be a very good play if they doubled into Kyurem here, so I actually think Gengar's expendable as they go straight for the knock. Disabled though, which means if that is banded, it can no longer kill my Salazzle. So I can just click flamethrower. If they stay in, I disable the Kyurem. If they don't swap out to Kyurem, I protect disable the Kyurem anyway. So that curse body was actually excellent for me. I feel their best play is to go back into Weavile. Yeah, good play, but I always protect in its face. As when Kyurem comes out, that's okay, I always protect in their face. They're still taking poison chip over and over, and I have plenty more protects. And since it's failing when they swap out, I can just protect the next turn anyway. So that seems to be game. I can't see an eventuality where Weavile can even 2-hit KO Toxapex, unless it's banded Psycho Cut, but even then I think it would need to be a crit. So I'm going to flamethrower again. As Salazzle actually ended up living the knockoff, so it definitely wasn't banded. GG. So I'm going to pause there till I hopefully find another game. So we're back for another game, and it is against Mono Normal. So I've played Mono Normal teams before, and Chansey can be an issue, but Slowbro and Drapion can actually do a good bit of work on them, which is nice to know. Toxic Spikes as well, their team definitely hates that. So I'm going to open up with Weezing and hopefully throw them down. If they open up with Diggersby. Okay, so they open up Heliolisk, and I definitely don't want this thing dead to a Specs Lisk, but I'm going to throw some Toxic Spikes down anyway. As they're definitely not Specs, they could be Scarf or more likely Expert Belt, and Drapion is needed to stay alive for Indeedee. So I'm still going to go on Drapion as it can still live. That wasn't too strong, and Earthquake will knock it out. As they go on Porygon 2, good play, but this lets me knock it off and get rid of its potential Eviolite. As they teleport out, so that's nice to have the Eviolite broken or knocked off for the rest of the team, as well as the poison chipping them away. So they don't seem to have Braviary or any defog users on their team, which could definitely work against them. If they're taking Diggersby, I can go Weezing. Perfect. If it is Scarf or Banded, as they double into Heliolisk, good play, but I'm still spreading the poison, which is exactly what I want to do. And I'm going to Strange Team here, expecting yet another Thunderbolt to want to come out. So I think I might make a risky play here and go Gengar, as they go in Chansey. So I'm actually going to try Trick the Chansey, as they go for Stealth Rock. So that helps my team so much later in the game. And I can just click Focus Blast here, as Pori 2 comes back out. And it misses, as Focus Blast does. But I still get the KO, and everything's going to start being poisoned. Indeedee can be an issue if it wants to use Expanding Force, especially if it's Scarfed. So I need to keep Drapion healthy for that. So on Diggersby, I always go back into Weezing, expecting an Earthquake. As they go for Body Slam, good play. But Slowbro shouldn't care too much about that, and here I can just click Future Sight. So they seem to be banded based on how much damage they did, because that's a lot of damage. But I can recover this back thanks to Regen and go into Gengar. is they can take out Chansey, but Chansey can't do anything against Gengar. So I'm actually going to go back into Slowbro for the regen. As they expected, they teleported out into Indeedee. I don't think there's any way they're going to give me Indeedee, but Drapion should live a Dazzling Gleam. As they go for Expanding Force, interesting. I did not expect that play. The Future Sight there hurt a lot, meaning I don't have to knock this off to kill, so I can Earthquake in case they want to go Chansey, because they probably want their Choice Scarf knocked off. So another Earthquake can come out here. So I have to keep Drapion alive for Indeedee. And I go back out to Gengar here, as I think it's the most expendable member. As they glare me, good play. I'll click Sludge Wave. If they give me Indeedee, don't be fully powered. Nice, so I take Indeedee, which is so good for the rest of the team. This seems to be banded based on the damage it's doing. And obviously nothing lives in Earthquake, so what I'm going to do is, I'm going to sack Gengar here. A Curse Body there would have been amazing, but that's okay, because I can take out Salazzle. And I click Protect turn 1 as he goes into Ditto. So they definitely want to try Toxic the rest of my team. But at this point, Drapion was expendable, as they do forfeit, so nice win against Mono Normal there. Didn't get too much points, they were a lot lower on the ladder than me. So my game plan here was I would have gone into Drapion on the Toxic, and which lets me just click Earthquake again, taking a KO on one of these two things, or giving me Ditto. For the rest of the game, I could have just Protect stalled out Diggersby and then disabled its Choice Locked attack. And for Heliolisk, between the regens on Slowbro and Toxapex, I think I could have lived long enough for Poison to chip them away. So that's going to be the video today. 1 loss, 2 wins, pretty good. I'm pretty happy with how I played overall. I did actually have a couple of games against a friend that I didn't record. We went 1 loss, 1 win there. I decided not to record because he's a friend of mine, so I didn't know if he wanted to be on YouTube. But other than that, thank you so much for watching, guys, for everyone for watching. If you're interested in kind of chatting more with me or my friends or the community in general, I do have a Discord up above in the description, which I will be linked in my profile, sorry. You can follow me on Twitter as well for more updates on when I'm going to be recording videos or when I'm going to be streaming just general Pokemon nonsense. And follow me on Twitch if you want to watch any of my up and coming Pokemon live streams. So I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. If I don't upload between now and then, have a great time and take care, everyone.